My name is Katie Ross. I was Katie Natman at college. I came here in 1991 to read human sciences. Most of my career has been in working in television for the BBC and Channel 4 predominantly. I worked on programmes you might have heard, Countryfile, Tomorrow's World and Maths for Real. So Human Sciences is a course that looks at human interaction with the environment and problems facing human societies. So you might be looking at studying sustainability, ecology, even statistics comes into it. So the subjects that are most relevant from GCSE are probably biology, geography and maths. So Human Sciences is a course that covers so many different subjects. You have to look at many sources and distill a lot of information and present it in a kind of nice tidy bundle. And that is probably in essence kind of what you're doing when you're working in the media. If you're working in television or in print journalism, you have to take a lot of information and present it in a nice kind of manageable form. My mother worked in television a long time ago, so that's possibly something that was always in the back of my mind. But when you come to Oxford, you have a chance to join so many different societies. I was interested in writing, I was interested in making little films. In the olden days, we used to have things called camcorders, and I would make films with those. And so going to write for the student newspaper was really just an extension of something I thought I might be interested in. It's a really good way to do something where I was going to meet people, ask questions. I like asking lots of questions. And the Film Foundation, even though I had a family background, my mother had worked in news in Uganda television, I didn't really have any experience of filmmaking. And it was really exciting to go and to be on a film set with the clapperboards in Oxford with other students doing different courses. I think it probably gave me the idea that maybe I will be able to combine this creativity with my course here at Oxford. So one of my first jobs in television was working as a researcher. I worked on a documentary for an independent production company in London. And we were looking at the children of Black American GIs who were born to white women. So there were mixed race relationships and we wanted to make a documentary about them. As a researcher, your main job is to find contributors, to assess where you might do your filming, to find library footage or archive photographs, really to help the director to put together his film. You're quite junior, it's like being somebody in a library and finding all of the information. But basically you're finding contributors to be in programs, you're going over what their contribution is going to be. One of the programs I did when I turned to do more presenting was called Maths for Real. And it was helping GCSE students who were maybe struggling with some of the concept to fully understand or better understand some of the things that they were having to learn about. So for example, we did a program on Pythagoras' theorem. And when we did that, we went to Bradford City Football Ground with a long piece of rope with lots of knots in it, because that's how ancient Egyptians built such brilliant square-based pyramids. And we used the rope to check that the corners of the football pitches really were perfect right angles. And so that was just one practical example. We also went to a pizza restaurant and we used the formula for the area of a circle to work out whether it was a better deal to have 2 medium pizzas for one price or 1 large, depending on the area. So it was a really good program to work on. Working in television was very much like the Human Sciences course in that sense, in that there was a lot of everything. So you'd learn about science and technology on Tomorrow's World. We did stories about the kakapo population, that's a flightless bird in New Zealand, and how they were worried about the numbers of it, so you're kind of doing a bit of animal studies there. Then I also did a story about virtual reality and how a virtual reality system was going to help people overcome their fear of heights. So that, for example, was Tomorrow's World. Then on Countryfile, you'd be doing sea eagles in Wester Ross, or nature deficit disorder in a forest in Epsom, or somewhere like that. I mean, it was always, there was never a dull moment, in exactly the same way that with Human Sciences, you never knew what the next week would bring. So the other thing about working in television as a presenter was that because I was doing many different projects, each day you might turn up and there'd be a different cameraman, maybe a different director, a different script to learn, and the variety of programs I could be doing a holiday program. I mean, how wonderful is that? You're in Puerto Rico one minute, you're driving a camper van the next in Dorset. Brilliant. But then I could be doing a really serious corporate film for a bank and having to discuss, last year's figures and where are we going, what's the strategy for the business. So I think really being able to get your head around lots of different things, maybe that's just something that interested me. So maybe that's why I found the perfect career and the perfect degree. 4x4 was a report programme where 4 different reporters took a different angle on one topic. So for example, I think I did one on fertility, and one of the reporters looked at the scarcity of human eggs for donation for people who wanted to have a donor egg. Another reporter was trying to find all the brothers and sisters of one person who knew that she was the product of a sperm donation. So, there could be hundreds out there. And my film was about designer babies and how you might want to choose the sex of your next baby. You might have had 3 boys and you want a girl, and how ethical that is. I think today we get so much information just coming into our phones really quickly, into our lives. We can find out about things instantly through Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all these things. And it's really important that you don't take all of that information on face value. It comes in and you think, right, this is the latest thing. You always have to make a considered judgment on sources of information. If you're writing an essay at university, you wouldn't just go to one book and write it with that one book or one paper on the internet. You would try and use a variety of sources. So Jumping Yak is an educational business that I set up a few years ago. My husband and I have 2 children, and when they were leaving junior school, they had to do some exams to get into the next school, and we kind of wanted them to be ready. So I'm a big believer in trying to make education enjoyable, because so many children don't find it enjoyable. So I kind of had the idea, my husband and I used to write puzzles for the children that were kind of not directly related to their maths. I called it stealth learning. And so I had all these ideas and I put them all together, and I thought, why don't I write a book about this, a puzzle book? And there was a boy who was a man who was at St John's with me who did history, and he works as a professional illustrator and cartoonist, and he's written his own books and self-published hundreds of books, and he agreed kindly to draw the pictures in my book. So together we made this really fun puzzle book, and hopefully I'm brightening many children's revision sessions across the country. It's really hard to know what am I going to be doing in 10 years' time, but I think if you follow your passions and if you get the chance to come to a university like Oxford, you should just seize it, because this is such a wonderful experience to have. The teaching is amazing, the facilities are amazing, it's just a great university to come to. I think it's really important to do your research, work hard, have fun, join lots of societies. That's a really key thing to do. Just remember that you've just got to give it your best shot. That's all you really can do. If you have a passion and you're possibly not able to follow it as a course, I think you should really try and keep going with that passion, because you never know what's going to happen in 10 or 20 years' time, especially if it's a creative passion, because these days, it's wonderful to have your degree, and if you get a degree from Oxford, it's wonderful just to have that, down. But whatever your passions are, try and follow them, because they are probably things that you're quite good at. You'll never lose interest in them because you're so passionate about them, and you never know where it's going to lead.